This is the fourth and final part of my deep dive review of Echoes of Wisdom. If you haven't seen the first three parts, I'd recommend watching those first. All are linked in the description, as well as the full-length video. But without further ado, I'm Mr. Z, and this is Zelda Discussions. Let's get into part 4. The side quests of this game are quite fun, and as previously stated, very rewarding. The smaller scale of this game's world has fewer side characters residing in it than the open air games, hence, less side quests total that the player has to keep track of. Fewer side quests means that they don't take up the majority of your time spent in the game. They are side quests, after all. This is an issue I've had with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom because the majority of the content in those games is side stuff that we aren't required to do. But with this game, the developers didn't make the meat of the game side content that's just thrown in random places in the overworld. They put thought and time into the story of the game while still giving us a decent amount of side content too. But the side quests are good too. There are quests that range from clearing moblins out of a man's house foundation to entire optional mini-dungeons with their own secret bosses that are on par with the main bosses of the game. But these fights are all completely optional, great as they are, and fighting them is half the reward for going out of your way to do the side quest. These secret bosses also give a piece of heart for defeating them. Again, this makes the side content rewarding. You get to fight a whole new boss that doesn't impact the main story, but you also get a piece of heart from it. And these secret bosses are also callbacks to old Zelda games too. Smog from Oracle of Ages, and Baronade from Ocarina of Time. And that adds to the fun of completing these quests if you're a longtime fan like me and catch these references. But while pieces of heart are a reward from side quests, things like rupees, might crystals, clothing, and accessories are all rewards from the side quests as well. The smaller the quest, the smaller the reward. The Up a Wall side quest has Zelda save a villager from some moblins. It's simple, easy, and quick. And the reward is scaled to the intensity of that quest, 20 rupees. That reward does help you out though. It can get you a wide variety of things. 20 rupees in any of the previous two games is basically worthless due to everything being ridiculously expensive. This leads me to my next point. The items you can obtain from the side content are actually helpful. Might crystals for one allow you to upgrade Link's equipment at Impa's brother's house. However, accessories are widely useful too. Perks like taking half the damage or a higher likelihood of getting raw materials from pots and monsters. All of the 26 accessories in this game have different applications and usefulness. Also, the number of accessories you can equip at any given time is upgradable via the Great Fairy, who charges rupees to increase your capacity for accessory equipping, which gives good use for your rupees and an incentive to collect them. Speaking of uses of rupees, this game handles them perfectly. The Great Fairy upgrades for one, but also purchasing heart pieces and certain accessories at stores, paying your toll for minigames, and for smoothie shops, which are all things that can help you during your playthrough. The smoothie shops run by business scrubs have you combining any two raw materials together to make a smoothie, each with different effects: cold proof, fireproof, energy recovery, or just simply giving your hearts back. All for the price of 10 rupees to make it yourself, or 120 without giving up any materials. The smoothies offer a good use of the rupees and give you a choice with how to spend them. But rupees aside, likely the most fun side location in the game is the Slumber Dojo in Kakariko Village. This place offers various challenges like hordes of monsters that either need to be taken down with your current echoes, or have you start with nothing and you learn the echoes around you to take on the challenge. All of these are for rewards like the katana, an item used in another side quest, as well as accessories that reduce the speed at which your energy drains, smoothie ingredients, etc. But my personal favorite challenges are the Titan's Gatherings. These challenges pit you against the game's story bosses one after another, testing how fast you can beat them. The first one has you fight the first 3 bosses, the second having you fight the last 3 bosses, and finally the third having you fight every boss in the game aside from the final boss. These challenges are so fun, and you can do them as many times as you want. Also, completing every challenge in the Slumber Dojo rewards you with a green Link tunic, which is a super rad reward. However, while I love Echoes of Wisdom's side content, there are 2 quests in particular that I have a problem with: getting a horse and the automatons. These quests are both fairly long and quite out of the way, taking away from the story's progression. The horse quest is at Hyrule Ranch, which is sort of on the way to Kakariko, but you are likely to miss it early on because you don't have to even go to Kakariko until you're on your way to the Eldin Temple, which could even be the second to last dungeon you complete. But even if you do go there, the quest has you rescue a missing horse from the ranch owner. This unlocks the rental horse that you can borrow at any time. But if you want your own horse, then you have to go to Hyrule Castle to talk to Impa, who says she's been raising a steed for you. You now must go back to the ranch where you learn that your horse went missing and got taken by a rift. You then follow the ranch people to the rift and complete it. Now you have a horse of your own. This quest is not bad at all. In fact, it's actually quite fun. However, the reward of the horse is not nearly as useful or impactful to the player as getting Epona in Ocarina of Time. All the horse gets you is the ability to play the horse minigames at the ranch and the ability to run fast when traveling. Also, you aren't even able to get your own horse until the Hyrule Castle dungeon is completed. But even with the increased mobility, the important locations in the game all have a waypoint nearby to warp to, taking away from the magnitude that the speed the horse can move brings. Why spend time on a long side quest that gives you a reward that's completely trivialized by how warping works? The automatons are the other quest I have an issue with. Dampé creates little wind-up robots themed after enemies for Zelda to use, given that she has the echoes of said enemy and a specific material for Dampé to use. And this is a very cool concept. However, you cannot even begin the quest until Hyrule Castle is completed. Furthermore, encountering Dampé is typically on your way to Faron, which again has the chance to be the second to last dungeon in the game. But aside from its placing in the game's progression, the quest is not worth your time this late in the game, sadly. Dampé has you gather materials that he uses to make the automatons. All of these items have you go to other regions of the world to obtain, and most have you do another side quest in order to obtain them as well. You have to do quite a bit of challenges in order to receive the katana from the Slumber Dojo. You have to master the mango minigame in Gerudo Desert in order to receive the golden fan, and to obtain the fireworks echo, you have to have already completed the Eldin quest as well. So not only do you have to go out of your way to get to the areas that have said item, you usually have to do yet another side quest on top of that, adding to the length of time it takes to just get one automaton. And there are 6 of these things. But each automaton has its own unique ability that can prove useful in combat. The Roboblin will use a sword slash that deals massive damage to all the monsters on screen. The Goldfinch will attack enemies, giving you loads of rupees with each attack, and the Tok'tarok will spit fireworks at enemies, dealing a lot of damage within the blast radius. And yeah, they are really cool. However, they are hardly worth using. If you want to use an automaton, you take it out same way you would an echo you have, but it doesn't do anything yet. You have to wind it up. It doesn't sound too bad, but it takes forever to wind these things up, and the winding process leaves you completely vulnerable to enemies. And yes, there are smoothies and accessories that make the winding process faster, but it still leaves you vulnerable until the thing is wound up. And in that same amount of time, you could have simply used your echoes or even your sword to take down at least a couple of enemies. And yeah, you could wind one up before you go into battle, but they revert back to not moving after being wound up for a bit. Also, if your automaton gets hit enough times in battle, it's broken. You cannot use it again unless you pay Dampé to fix it. But you don't pay him with rupees, but monster stones, one of your materials. Granted, you can buy monster stones from Dampé and obtain them from killing monsters and opening treasure chests, but they are still less common than rupees, which makes it hurt more when you have to fix an automaton. Yes, you pay Dampé with monster stones, but that's only if you don't want to pay rupees. This side quest would have been way better had it been given to you earlier on in the game as part of the story, preferably after the first dungeon, so that you can go look for the items needed to craft the automatons with the progression of the story, instead of having to interrupt your adventure in the latter portion of the game to head back to an area you explored in the first couple of hours of the game. However, these complaints are not major issues I have that make the game unfun or even bad. These side quests are actually quite enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun completing them. My main issues with them are simply just the timing of their introductions, which could make a player miss these fun quests on their playthrough. But my complaints are only meant to show what takes the game from perfection in my eyes. Breath of the Wild's, and to a greater extent Tears of the Kingdom's user interface, suffered from horizontal scrolling that interrupted the flow of combat, puzzle solving, and just experiencing the game. Especially if you need to fuse an item that you haven't used since the beginning of the game when a niche puzzle requires it towards the end. But this game, although it uses horizontal scrolling to set which echo to use, is not bad at all. You can sort your echoes by last used, most used, last learned, cost, and type. And all are great for finding the exact echo that you need. But if the echo you require is buried underneath a mound of previously learned and used echoes, you can look at the notebook in the subscreen and choose your desired echo with a grid instead of endlessly scrolling horizontally. The scrolling is supposed to be a means of making things a bit quicker. But if that doesn't offer a faster option for you, then pausing the game to choose from a menu that goes both horizontally and vertically is there for your use as well. And if that's still a problem, Nintendo's recent update to the game allows you to favorite certain echoes and filter your echoes by favorites as well. But not only is this good, navigating the pause screen is great too. I mean, look at this. I can go from far left to the far right with one button push, and I can go from top to bottom in the same way. This is a small but very good change to the menu from the previous two games. In Tears of the Kingdom, if you want to go from far left to far right, you gotta hold the R button or mash it in order to get to the save screen. But each section of the pause menu is well organized too. There's the key items screen that has your pieces of heart, Link's items, your bottles, and tries level. The items screen has your smoothie ingredients and side quest rewards. Drinks has your potions and smoothies. Equipment has your outfits and accessories. Notebook has your learned echoes and automatons. And System allows you to save your game and use amiibos, among other things. But I do have one issue with the map of this game. It reuses the same yellow dot beacon telling you where to go that Breath of the Wild introduced, as well as a mini-map. The addition of a mini-map is useless with how small the game's world is, and makes the world feel even smaller yet. Also, having the beacon telling you where to go at all times takes away from the necessity of the map. In A Link to the Past, important destinations were marked by an X by NPCs, and you could only see if you were going in the right direction by looking at the map, making it one of the most useful features of the entire game. But a mini-map that has a beacon telling you where to go eliminates the need to look at the map because you can see which way you need to go at all times. Another issue I have with this game's UI is that anytime you get a new main or side quest, a huge effect comes on screen announcing that you have a new quest. And that can get really annoying, especially if you're trying to see monsters around you or want to see the person that you're talking to. It does not go away for a good 3 to 5 seconds, and doesn't go away when you talk to someone. And this happens every time you receive and complete a quest, which is a bit frustrating. However, this game's UI is great for the most part, even with these flaws. Echoes of Wisdom is the newest entry in the Legend of Zelda franchise, and has me in awe at how masterfully it combines elements from new and old Zelda. Its riveting story, deep strategic combat, and fresh new mechanics have all combined to create a Zelda experience that has me coming back multiple times again to re-experience it. And although the game does have some minor issues, they don't take away from the enjoyment and much needed combination of old and new Zelda that have made this game so great in my eyes. This game truly is a gem of an entry to the Zelda series, especially considering the rough patch the franchise has been through in the past few years. And despite its imperfections, I truly hope we can see more like it in the future. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate the support that likes and subscribers offer. You guys are all appreciated and loved. Thank you again, and I'll catch you in the next one.